Hey guys, it's Kelly Leger here along with Amber Buteau and Jiyun Heo, who is visiting us all the way from Korea to talk about what's going on in South Korea on production and the productions that he is on this week. So here we go.
Yeah, so welcome, Jiyun.
Hi.
We're so glad to have you. Okay, so disclaimer, he just got off a plane from South Korea and his English is perfect.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfecto.
Yeah. So we're super excited to have you. A little backstory on Jiyun is he came to live with me when he was 15 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, super cool. He came to visit and live with us. He was an exchange student at 15, turned 16 here. No, he did not drive here. But we're super excited to have you on because you're doing great things in South Korea with film. And a little of the backstory of your life is came here at 15, lived with us for a year, had a great experience. And then let's talk about right before you went home, we had a conversation, the two of us. And in Korea, for those of you that don't know, in South Korea, there they have a really high education. They're brilliant. They truly are brilliant. But they take this test there that determines kind of what industry you're going to go into. And at the time, Jiyun wasn't sure at 16 if he took that test, if it was going to say what his heart and his passion was, which was film.
So based on the test that helps you find a career, or they drive you toward
a certain career.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so he left here, torn with, he hoped that his dreams were going to get to be in film. That's what he wanted to do, was work in film, but he wasn't sure that that's what the test was going to support. So let's start there.
Now I want to know how it turned out.
I know. So Jiyun, tell us, when you left America and you went back home.
Yeah. I took the test in my third grade of high school. And then after the test, you got to separate to the two types of students. Yeah. So I wanted to get I want to be in some artistic group.
Yep,
so apparently I got it says writers or directors on media. Yeah.
Wow.
That's what the test.
That's what happened.
That's what it chose for you.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. What were the other? You said there's two groups. So there was one that was kind of more artistic, or what was? How was that?
No, it's not like that. It's more like math or language.
Okay.
Science or art. Like this.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess we kind of have that here too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get a degree in the arts.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
Or bachelor's of science. So you can kind of go to different.
But that ended up working out for you then.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thankfully.
Yeah. Okay, so once you passed that, you finished high school, and then you started college.
Yeah.
Studying film, which is great. And in your second year of film school, it's mandatory in South Korea that you go to the military, correct?
Yeah.
And so then you went to the military for 2 years?
Yeah.
And then after the military, came back and finished film school, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. And then what happened after film school?
First of all, I had to film a graduation film to graduate film school.
Okay.
So I did. And after that, I saw many friends who graduated, but didn't get to get into the film industry. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to stay in film industry. So, but I couldn't right away. So what I thought about is, let's make a film.
Yeah.
If they don't let me get into the industry, let me make myself a career.
Yeah.
And credit. So there are some contests that give you money to make movies. So I wrote some scripts and I submitted
Yeah.
to the contest,
Yeah.
and they rank the scripts and they call you to pitch the script.
Yep.
So luckily I got into the top rank. Maybe it was 5 to 10.
Yeah.
And I pitched it and they liked it.
Yeah.
And I got to make a short film of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was way, way cool. Super exciting. I know I have sit on the board or on the panel, so to speak, of pitch panels a lot,
Yeah.
you know,
Film festivals.
at film festivals and whatnot. And everybody gets up, and if you don't know, they get up and pitch their script, their concept, everything. And then they hope that either they'll win funds like that or get a production house to take over and take up their script and take up their idea and help them make the movie. So I know how exciting that was for you to be able to win that. And then, so you went and made the short. And what was the short film over?
It was about a lonely guy who lives alone, and he's living in a poor neighborhood and work in the kind of rich neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the way back home, it's a night. It's late night. In his neighborhood, there is a poem on the wall, and it changes every day. And he read it every night and leave a pack of cigarette to thank someone who's writing the poem on the wall.
Yeah.
But one day he found out that the poem didn't change.
Oh.
So he tried to find who wrote the poem, and finally he found that the writer is dead. And at the end, the guy who was just reading the poem is gonna it ends with writing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, so he ends up writing the poem. The
Yeah.
guy that had been reading it every day.
He
ends up-
becomes the new poem
Writer.
writer.
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
It continues on.
Aw.
Cool. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that's a really cool concept.
Wow.
I like that. So congratulations on making that. Now your
Thank you.
film is in the film circuit, right? Like it's
Yeah.
going on the film festival
Yeah.
tour kind of.
Yes.
And so we're hoping that wins a lot of film tours.
Yeah, I got to meet many audiences, and I think that's what I most like. That's what I most like about going to film festival, because you know the making it is so hard, and editing and the like sound mixing,
Yeah.
and it's so lonely. And
Yeah.
it's hard to keep my mind. I'm gonna meet audiences one day, but yeah, film festival and meeting audiences, it was great.
Yeah. Yeah. In the process, that's, you know, we talked about another episode, how there's so much that goes into making a film and how so much of it is in an office, in pre-production, post-production, editing, rewatching, re-seeing all the details, you know, all of that too. You do all that in hopes that when the audience sees it, they enjoy what you've created as much as time as you've spent on it.
Totally. Oh, it's so true. It makes me think about everybody who puts all this hard work into films, and then something's in the theater for just a few days, and you're like, and we we say, oh, it was a flop. And you're like, oh, you just crushed 2 years of someone's life. You know, what do you mean? It's just a flop. Like, it took so much. You have to like applaud anybody doing anything, you know. I mean, a film like that gets made and gets to go to the circuit on any level, it's like, it's worthy to applaud. I mean,
For
it's
sure.
like, you know, so good job. And especially in a culture where things are like that, you know, where it's, you know, I'm assuming it wasn't too terribly common for someone just to go out on their own and like, I know I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to have a career here. You know, that had to be some opposition, you know, that would oppose you and say, no, just get a job. No, just do this. Do the normal thing. You know, like be like everybody else. Do this. You know, so that's awesome to have had that in you so much that you would be willing to take the chance. And did that. I mean, do you remember what that was like when you did that? When you made that choice, or was it you were always going to do it, or how was it for you?
Oh, I'm more like I'm gonna do it. Yeah, because you know I didn't wanna live in office, and I had a great experience here, and I saw Amber's family and how they think about how they live with their lives, and I mean it was amazing that how they dream, and have positive mind. In South Korea, we don't have much positive minds in our heart. So I think experiences that I had in US had most of the parts I could keep going on with my dream. So yeah. And filmmaking was all I wanted to do from when I was like 14. Yeah, and I had quite lonely times when I was in middle school, and I used to play soccer and wanted to become a soccer player, but I didn't like the cultures, how they coach the kids. There were some violences, and you know I couldn't. I thought that it's too scary. Yeah, I don't want to grow up like in this environment. Yeah. And then I didn't have any dream, and I didn't have anything to want. I didn't have anything that I want to do, but that's the time I started to watch a lot of movies, and the movies kind of healed my mind. And so that's the moment I wanted to become a movie director, and I decided I'm gonna make those kind of movies that warms your heart. Yeah.
That's cool.
I know. Great. Right.
Wow, that is super cool.
That's the cool part of this industry. This is the part I love. I love hearing people's stories that do what we love in this industry, and what drives them and motivates the things we see on TV. There's so many personal touches on film that, you know, I think as a whole, as an audience, we don't know behind the scenes, and that's what we kind of hope to do here at Set Life, and to learn what a privilege we're getting to learn what they're doing in South Korea, and a glimpse into the film industry there.
You know what's really interesting to me though is like wherever you find film, I spend a lot of time in India. And that's like the second largest film community outside of Hollywood is Bollywood. But regardless of where you find filmmakers and artists and things like that, the best art always comes from that place. Yeah. Because you could figure out a formula to try to make some big blockbuster, something, right? And, you know, nothing wrong with a big blockbuster. We'd all wouldn't mind having a blockbuster. But what makes those movies the best are those that from the heart, that you really had to fight, even the ones you had to fight to make. There was opposition. And you're like, no, I can't not make this movie. I have to make this movie. I'm gonna make this movie. I have to do this with my life. I heard a saying, and it basically says, you know, there's two great days in someone's life, right? There's the day they were born. And then there's the day when they discover what they were born to do. And so everybody's got to come to that, like where they're just like, this is it. This is what I was born to do, and nothing's going to stop me from doing it. And that's what people do, because there's so much opposition to do it, to make a movie. For sure.
And I think it's really cool how, you know, Jiyun has pulled from his life experiences to use those to propel him forward in what he loves, and to not give up on those, even though he's submerged in a culture that doesn't necessarily support the same way of thinking. Right. and that he found that healing in that place inside to keep driving and striving to reach.
And it gave him a voice.
Yeah.
It gave him a voice in the middle of that, you know? I mean, you, whatever, wherever you find yourself, it gives you a place to say something, you know? But it's not like you're just saying it. You get to do it in such a way where it kind of unlocks something on the inside of somebody. You could just say something in someone's ear and they could hear you. But when you throw it in an artistic way, it kind of makes you lean in to what the person's saying, because it's like, what are you really saying? What's that really mean? Why did they write it every day? How come you stopped writing the poem? What's the reason? It's different than just telling someone, you know, your heart. You know, it's beautiful.
You get to take them on a journey.
Yeah, it is. It is.
That journey. Okay, so now through you pushing through and completing film school and writing and saying, I'm going to do this regardless. I'm not just going to go get an office job, not your passion. And you said, all right, I'm going to go write a script. Because again, you took what you had, your abilities that you had, and you entered the script into the film festival. You win, your film's on the film festival route, and you meet a lot of great people. Tell us now, up to speed, what are you doing today?
Now I'm working as a third assistant director on a film called The Moon.
Yeah.
It's about a guy who goes to moon but got isolated.
Yeah.
On the other side, Korean Space Center is trying to save him. Yeah, it's a space movie, so it has a lot of VFXs, and I'm working as a VFX assistant director. Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, no, you're doing great with your English. Don't ask any of us to speak Korean, right? I mean, you could try to teach us one word on this, and we're gonna really mess that up. So you're doing great.
But to be clear, this is not just a film. This is not your film school film project.
No.
This is a big movie. This is a big science fiction movie.
Yes.
You know, that's what was the budget? Under $30 million?
Yeah.
I mean, this is not a small production. This is and that goes
Major
a
production.
long way in Korea. Those of you who, you know, in our culture, Korean dramas, Korean film in general is really
growing.
It's huge.
Wow.
You know, if you're watching, you probably have a favorite Korean something, you know, on Netflix or something, or whatever you watch, or know someone.
Yeah, what's the number one show that was out?
Squid Game, sure.
Right, that came out. That was all in Korea.
Totally.
So Korea is definitely huge on the map in this industry right now, for sure. So to be able to be, you know, a third director on this film, Jiyun's just what a story, right? From 15, being afraid of, if I just don't know if I'm going to pass this test to tell what, you know, I want to do that's in my heart. We even go back further than that, you know, the healing from watching the films and knowing he wants to be a filmmaker to coming over here, then having to take the test when he gets back home. Yeah. And the test even says yes, which was praise Jesus.
Right.
Again, I'm a little strong in my faith here, but praise Jesus. And he presses through that, gets through film school, gets through the military, comes back, finishes film school, you know, writes a script, wins the thing, does a film, meets people, and now he's on a, you know, massive movie.
Sounds like a movie right there.
It does. It does.
Don't take it. Don't steal it. Don't steal it.
Yeah. And so what's your favorite part, or what's your favorite part? We'll start with that question. We'll go to another one next about what you're doing on the moon.
On this movie?
Yeah.
Actually, it's not always fun. No. Yeah, but
come on, it's not always fun.
Yeah, but you know, to be honestly, get paid.
Yeah.
With doing what I always want to do.
It's honest.
Yeah, it's really great feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And you know, I get to learn about VFX is the most important thing, that because nowadays you cannot even imagine movies without CGs.
Sure.
Yep.
So, but in film school, you don't really get to get a experience with like high quality computer graphics. So following the procedures of how they make the shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm learning it from my work, and I think it's the most fun parts of it. Yeah.
Yeah, getting to learn so much.
Yeah.
I can't only. Yeah, so I've got to see a little behind the scenes, a little bit of some things that he's like projects he's working on. The whole thing is a green screen, and they're all acting in front of it, and then it's like they're in some spaceship on the moon. You know, I mean, it is absolutely mind blowingly cool. It's super cool, and Jiyun, I'm just so proud of you for where we met to where you are now, and what you're getting to share with the audience today. I mean, what an inspirational story.
Oh, totally.
Of, really having a passion, having a dream, going after it.
It's right up your alley.
And
these are her stories. All the movies she wants to produce and is producing.
Yeah.
All of this. This is all her thing. That's why I'm like, taking notes, right? You're taking notes.
Yeah. I mean, it's just what a great story and inspiration for, everybody, whether you're in South Korea here or wherever. At the end of the day, we all have dreams, passions, goals, and need encouragement to step out in faith to do those and try to achieve them. And I agree with you. Getting paid to do what you love is something special, isn't it?
Yeah.
And to have the maturity to know it's not always all fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Sure.
Right? I mean, there's those nuggets too in the story.
Absolutely.
So, okay, on set, so now we know you had showed me something where you make, is it like basically like a shot list, and then you have to put every single note next to it, the detail that goes into what we see and what they're doing is absolutely amazing. Try to explain some of that maybe.
Okay. We have a weekly meeting with the CGI team and with director, and the team of computer graphic bring their works every week and how they improve the shot and screen it before in front of director, and director gives the feedbacks, and I write them all down to my files, and to make sure I give it to the computer graphic teams, and and it's pretty much of all of my works, but it's important.
Oh yeah.
If I miss one word of director, and next time
round.
it's like it feels like never ending.
Right. Yeah. Sure. Oh yeah. So you're in the studio and you're shooting your actors on a green screen, and then that's delivered to your effects department, CG.
Yeah.
They're putting the plates in the background, and they're putting the backgrounds, etc., everything that needs to go into that. Then they're coming to your weekly production meeting, and your director's making notes on exactly what scene. Does it need to change? Is the lighting right? Does it marry up against the background right? All those notes. And so you're the one who's sitting there taking the go-between, making sure what he's saying. You're literally the assistant of the director, and taking those notes down and delivering it to the effects team and making sure the communication is right. Really, like an assistant director is like you are an extension of the director's arm. So like when I'm on set as a director, you have a first AD or a second AD or a third AD, depending on the size of the production, because the director only has so many arms, and so but he has to have a say in this, and this. So you need more help. There has to be an assistant director. So in this case, it's so large that he's a third assistant who's now communicating to an effects department everything that has to be going every single week. Does that kind of sum up like what you're doing every week? Yeah,
we are editing it while the works are going on.
Right.
During the editing, shots are changing, and we gotta change the whole things again, and what props are gonna floating on the space. Some kind of like that. The details.
Sure.
That's the important
Wow.
part, what I'm doing.
Wow, multi-layered, so many facets, especially when you work on that
The
level.
detail work,
Yeah.
the precision in the detail.
Yeah.
That has to be there. That's the other thing with CGI. I mean, you have your practicals, right? That's what's in place.
Right.
Like this is a practical. Then if we had like it looked like we were in Korea right now behind us, that's what's digitally put in. So you're moving all that together, you know, and making all it, because if one practical isn't put in the right place, it's messed up all of everything
It
else.
takes forever to paint it out or add something or
Yeah.
reshoot something.
Yeah.
Sure, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So
Big deal.
big deal.
Big
Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thanks, Jiyun, for coming on and sharing some of your story. And, you know, we're so stoked to get to have a conversation with you over here. And we hope to take this podcast to Korea. I feel like we should take a
That's
field
right.
trip,
That's
right?
right.
With the
Yeah.
podcast
Hey.
Yeah.
and go over.
Hey,
and
when is the film supposed to come out? We know how all
Yeah.
that works, but
On July.
July
Yeah.
of 2023.
Yeah. It could be August.
Okay.
Yeah. Not sure yet.
August, July or August of 2023. The
Yeah.
Moon.
Yeah.
released
sci-fi.
in Korea, South
right.
Korea. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun.
So we'll be keeping a lookout for that.
Definitely.
And Jiyun, we just thank you for being here today. And we were so glad to have you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Until next time on Set Life.